Good evening. Welcome to the Mancunian Way Thursday night special. The Manchester Derby. Here we go. Countdown is on. Is Manchester red or is Manchester blue? Hope you are all good in the chat. Good evening, Pat. How are you, mate?
Hello, Martin. Things are good here. Thank you, mate. And I hope everything is well with everybody out there too.
Yeah. Hope you're all good. Hope you are all good. Excuse me. Sorry. I'm sorry we're a bit late. I've had a very, very busy, evening. I've been at the BBC this evening, live in the studio. I'm doing a show. So hope you are good. Let's say some hellos in the chat. If you did listen to the Total Sport show tonight, let us know.
BBC,
if you've enjoyed it. Pardon?
BBC, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said TalkSport.
No, Total Sport.
Oh, I thought you said TalkSport. Sorry.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Good job. Well done. Thank you. The club messed up tickets again. What do you mean, Ethan? Let us know what you mean. Good evening, Mingy Wong. Hope you are well. It's 3:30 kick-off on Sunday. That's a strange time. Wonder why they can do it. I think it's to do with the pubs. I think they've tried to reduce the drinking time. Pardo Oaks, hello, mate. How are you? Alec Johnson, good evening, buddy. Adam Quint's in the building. Good evening. So is Tom Mateus. Hello. Hello, fellow treble winners, DC. Hope USA is doing you well. Good evening, Blue. Only Blue in the village. Christian Cately, good morning to you. 6-1 again. I'd love a bit of that, Sean. Love a bit of that. Come on, City. Indeed. We're loving the old trophies there. Ethan out of the club, F up, says Cade. Good evening, Blue, says JJ. I'd rather have Verts than Musiala. That thumbnail is impressive. It's very hard to get a thumbnail. I wanted to get both teams in. So I've had to mess around with that. I know there's players out injured, but it's very hard to get this season's and last season's when we've not played yet. This season's kits when we haven't played each other yet. Rich is here. Better late than never. Smash that like button, everyone. Morning lateness.
Yeah, that's a poor performance. Poor performance.
Lateness is greatness.
That's a week's wages.
Okay. That's fine.
Hello, Dudley. Rich is sat there going,
You've been docked one Alan super chat.
Yeah.
Treble winners go to the swamp to feast. Indeed. Hope so glad you're all doing well. Thought Rico was poor yet again when he plays right back. He's good. I thought he did all right the other night.
He made one mistake and one big mistake, but apart from that, he was pretty good.
Hello, Mark Fogg.
People just remember the mistake.
Good evening, Peter Gresti. How are you, mate? Good evening, Blues. Our city is blue. Yep, it is. Good evening, Blues. Another 6-1 on the way. Let's hope so.
Just a quick question on that Rico comment. Didn't he get man of the match?
Yeah.
I was going to say, I thought he got man of the match.
He wasn't my man of the match, but he got man of the match.
No, but I suppose they're quite strange, some of the man of the matches in Europe. Like De Bruyne got a few man of the matches where he wasn't in our top 5 players. I usually agree with them in the Premier League, but in Europe, they're strange.
Hello, Coffee. Hi, Mike and Pat and all. By the way, we like Coffee there. Coffee's a Newcastle fan who has not joined the arrogant brigade in winning the title and the Champions League and everything else, as some Newcastle fans have decided to go down the road of. But I suppose that's where expectation does take you. DC, thank you so much for the $9.99. That is really appreciated. Thank you all. Thank you for all you do for us, Martin, Patrick, Ozzy, Rich, and Alan. You are so appreciated. Thank you at all in the chat. That is very, very kind of you. Never expected, always welcomed. And it goes straight back into the channel. Thank you so much, DC. You were on BBC. Yes, I was on BBC Radio Manchester, 6-7, Total Sport. It is downloadable on the BBC website. If you want to listen to it, you may do. Evening, lads. How are you? 3-0 Sunday, says Anthony. Scotty Moll's in the house. Hello all, the real one who's not being bullied. Yeah, me and Scotty Moll have had a chat about that. Hi, Martin, Pat. How are both of you doing? I'm very, very good. Cade's gone for 3-1. MCFR TV. Hi, mate. How are you? Thank you for joining us. Good, man. Glad you're going to be with us for the full show. Get over to MCFR TV as well. They also have a channel. They're doing some really good things as well. Love beating the rags out the swamp. We do. Big up, Martin. No, big up yourself, man. Thank you for joining us, mate. Let's see where we're at. John Grogan, good evening, mate. How are you? Christian saying hello to you. Rich, just can't comment for some of it because I'm doing something. Never worry about him to comment, mate. Never worry. Rico, man of the match, star boy, says JJ. Scotty Moll, hey, buddy, the troublemaker is here. I'm out in the panel and all in the blues in the chat. Always get nervous near with the derby. Just hope City do the business. Rico was pretty good yesterday. It's what I mean. It's amazing how people view different parts of a player. And listen, this is why we love football. It's all opinions. Hi, Mark Finney. I always get nervous too. Play the kids, we'll still win 3-0. Anyone worried about the rest for the game? We'll get into that as we're going along. Newcastle have been so arrogant lately. Well, no, not all of them. Some of them are being a touch on the arrogant side, but I suppose that comes with expectation. I suppose, you know, some in our fan base are arrogant. Every fan base has an arrogant side to a fan base. YouTube notifications clapped. Part of it is YouTube not notified. I have retweeted it anyway, mate. That's well good. I'll download it after, mate. No worries. Brian, good evening to you and good evening to Ed. How are you? Big up, fellas. Right. I will come back to all your comments in the moment. Daniel, hello. Ready for the derby. I'm trying to get through everyone's comments because you took the time to comment. We should take the time to shout you out. Hi, Martin, Pat, and Rich. Hope we annihilate them zebra pants wearing freaks 5-0. That guy is never living that down, is he? He's never, ever living that down. Demolition Sunday, says Cax. Will there be a watch-along? Is there a watch-along with Goldbridge? Goldbridge will be doing one, but we were going to do them, but the problem is there's so many other City channels doing watch-alongs. You're fighting for the same, and everyone's not generally subscribed to the same channels. So what you do is your numbers and their numbers are all getting affected because you're all basically trying to fight for the same subscribers. So we took the decision of, I was going to watch the games with my dad. Rich and Pat are obviously in the middle of that. It's just, we were just going to make it easier to take away the watch-alongs, unless it's like cup finals, things like that. We're not at. Generally, I'm at a lot of them. Maguire at the back, we don't give Haaland service at the weekend. Right. Anyway, gentlemen, yes, we are here. The Manchester Derby at the swamp, at the leaky swamp. Pat, how are you feeling, first of all?
I came on here with the hope that I'll be able to keep the nerves at bay. I've done well so far this week by just keeping my ears closed to any news about the derby, just worrying about the match against Young Boys of Bern. But now we're talking about it. I don't know. We'll see how I am by the end of the show. But look, results would suggest that we have to come into this game with plenty of confidence, regardless of any injuries. Regardless of any injuries that they have, we should still feel like we can go there and get a performance. I do take my mind back to the last time we played there, and I'm not going to talk about the first goal that they scored because that's been overanalyzed for months and months on end. But look, I do want to see what sort of setup Ten Hag has, because you remember when we go back to that first half in that game, they did play a very solid structure, a very solid, basically cut off the angles, the passing lanes. They did make it difficult for us to break them down in that first half. And I'll be interested to see if Ten Hag's able to set up the same way again. We'll just have to wait and see. Another thing that I'm factoring as well too is obviously with the passing of Bobby Charlton, I think they'll definitely be up for this game and they'll definitely have something to play for. So for me, it's very much of we've got the quality we've got more of the quality on our side, but they have something big to play for. So it could be a bit cagey this one, but as all derbies are, I'm going to be nervous until it's all over and done with.
Yeah, Rich.
We're miles better than them. We are miles better than them. So, not that can't go wrong because we beat them a few times in the early 2000s, and they were a much better team than us. But I have this weird feeling with derbies that if we're playing brilliantly before going into a derby, we usually suddenly play terribly, and it goes wrong. But when we're not playing brilliantly going into a derby, we step up and play the best game we've played in ages and give them a battering. So I kind of have a feeling that they're going to get absolutely towelled on the weekend because we're better. There's barely a United player who'd get in our side, and we're not playing that well. And I just have this sneaky feeling that Haaland was coming back to his best with that goal for Norway and then that goal against Young Boys. And I have a feeling that Stones is going to be back to his best from having the game. I have a feeling we've rested a few players and got a bit more energy than they've had because they're desperately clinging on to the chance of qualifying where we're cruising through like a Rolls Royce. So I'm feeling very optimistic and not feeling my usual pre-derby tension a couple of days out. Yeah, I'm not feeling as anywhere near. Maybe it's the treble, but I'm not feeling. Maybe it's just the fact that they, have been a joke for a decade. But I'm not feeling the nerves as badly as I would normally, 48 hours out from a derby feel. Because I don't know, I've just got a feeling that this is going to be like the first derby last season. We'll be, putting, shutting up shop in the second half because we got it all done.
I mean, from a United point of view, they have won the last 3 on the bounce in all comps. As I was told tonight during the show, that the United fans, let's put it on way, not one of them went for even a draw. They all went for beating us. Because they're all under the impression we've had a very bad start. And as I kept pointing out, we won 7 out of 9. We were top of the league 2 days ago. So I think there is this, especially with the Bobby Charlton stuff, I think there is this underlying belief from the United fans is that they think they can beat us because they beat us also last season. Now, the one thing I would agree with, I do think, have we played a proper 90 minutes at full throttle yet this season? Probably not. Other than, in my opinion, probably the Leipzig game is probably the best we've played. As an opponent, where we were at, they're standing at home, everything about it. Even to the fact is Leipzig, which I'm not sure anyone noticed, even had to completely change their way they played to play against us. They don't normally play like that. And we made them change, which was respect to us. I honestly feel that works in our favour. In terms of, if United have got this little bit of underlying confidence, I honestly think they may, or from their fans' point of view, I don't think I get the impression they're not as scared of us as what we probably think they are. They've still got this aura. I was talking to tonight of, we're Man United. We're at Old Trafford. And exactly, Rick, you're smiling. You know what I mean? Because they have got this weird Man United arrogance coming out from them. How dare you turn up to our ground and think you're going to beat us? I mean, should there be some concern that we haven't hit 4th and 5th gear yet?
No, because we can't afford to hit 4th and 5th gear at this early in the season. We need to keep that for the last few months of the season. You know, we've got to just keep our players uninjured. We've got to keep them fit. We've got to have them preparing to reach their prime in March, April, May, possibly even slightly later than last year, because we almost peaked too early last year. We were off the peak by the time we got to the Champions League final and the last couple of league games. So, no, I think we're doing the right thing. But to be honest with you, we don't need to be in 5th or 6th gear to beat United. United are not a team who's in top gear. They probably, if they play the best performance in the season, they'll be about on a level with City in 3rd or 4th. And that is the brutal reality for United. So for them to beat us, we need to play in 2nd or 3rd, and they need to play in 6th, revving the engine to absolute maximum. And if that happens, they can beat us. Anyone can beat anyone on the day. But have I seen any signs that they've got the soul, the passion, or anything in their club to play at that 6th gear? Not recently, no. The only way I see them getting a result is if we really don't turn up. If we turn up like against Wolves and play at that level, then United are a team a bit like Wolves. They're mid-table, can have really good, kind of good days, can lose to anyone on the day. So we've lost to Wolves, we can lose to United. Let's be honest. But
that's what their thinking was. They were looking at the Wolves and Arsenal game and thinking we can be good. Which is true. But let's be straight. We were shit against Wolves.
I think that Arsenal was the Wolves performance, we were terrible, and the Arsenal performance was one of the most negative and just limp attempts of City in a big game that I've seen. And even then, against the best team other than us in the country, we lost by a deflected goal that was lucky in the last minute. And, or not quite the last minute, but that's the point. I don't think United can play as well as Arsenal. Even Arsenal not playing at their best.
Okay. Not even at the Swamp.
Well, I've watched a few bits of United games at the Swamp this year against Brighton and against Wolves. And to be honest, I thought against Wolves they looked a lot worse than we did against Wolves, and they were home, we were away. So that was arguably one of our worst Premier League performances in years. And they were at home at the start of the season. Everything, the season they're going to be challenging for the league again in their eyes, and they were worse than we were away.
By the way, have you all seen the Garnacho tweet? Because apparently there may be a banning coming from that.
Him scuffing up the penalty spot.
Yeah, I'm just trying to.
No.
I've not heard it. I was hoping any of you might have heard it.
No, the only thing I've seen all these pictures of him scuffing up the penalty spot, but I haven't seen his tweet.
Yeah, would have liked to have seen him do that again at the.
It's a potentially racist interpreted post. So, according to the recent report from the MEM, it claims the young attacker is facing disciplinary action that a post could be deemed as racist connotations. Basically, there was a picture of Banana saving, when they all celebrated him saving the penalty with a couple of silverback gorillas above him.
So he's doing that to his own teammate.
Yeah, not the cleverest thing to do, Garnacho. If I'm honest with you. Bit of a silly boy.
It's a bit silly, but we had everyone trying to call Bernardo a shocking racist for a tweet a few years ago, which, was a bit stupid, but he was clearly bantering with a mate. And didn't mean it like it
you've
could be
got to
taken.
so
But,
careful, though,
but
Rich.
oh yeah, I mean, do you know what?
Can't do that in this day and
If
age.
you were a professional, no, exactly. But if you're a professional footballer, why would you bother having any? Why would you bother having any social media? You'd be stupid, unless it's later in your career and you're using it to try and build a business. Why would you? Because
it was like Napoli
to get yourself in trouble.
It was like the Napoli stuff and Osimhen.
Oh, it's just embarrassing.
Come on, it's like this is the problem. And do you know what the sad thing is? I'm not even having a go. It's not an ageist thing. Some of these people who are in charge of these TikTok accounts for the clubs and everything else, they're young people, because a lot of clubs now want the younger people to be employed because they know the way around social media, TikTok, Instagram, this sort of thing. And the trouble is, they're trying to be a bit edgy to get clicks and views and impressions and everything else. They're not thinking with their heads fully. And it's just stupid. It really is stupid. It's, to me, that's a lot worse than the Bernardo stuff.
It is
a lot worse than the Bernardo stuff. That was actually, I just can't believe he's even done that. I find it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a Nano, sorry, you're having a word when you bounce into training with him.
You are. I guess what it's absolutely stupid. But I guess what I'm saying is I can't sit here and say he's doing it to be racist or whether he's doing it to say someone is the daddy of the team you saved as you're the man. Because, if I was...
You can't put a gorilla on top of
you can't.
Black man.
You can't. I'm saying you can't. I'm saying it's stupid.
I'm not laughing. I'm laughing out of ignorance of Garnacho.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I'm not going to call him that he's doing it to have a go at Onana. I think it's most likely just gross stupidity, and I think it's most likely, but I don't know. It's anyone now just put away.
I don't want to go down that. I don't want to spend the whole stream on that because that's the United issue. And sadly, I think it's a society issue with some youngsters and middle-aged people. Well, it's all age. I'm not going to say youngsters, but I think it's a social media. I said we did a show 2 weeks ago. Social media is very good, but it can also be the worst thing going.
Yeah,
it really can.
And for middle-aged people, we've got common sense. We've learned from life.
I don't know.
We understand social media for what it is.
Yeah. True.
Alan's 57. By the way, he's admitted that online, so we're not sharing stuff. So
if you need to learn how to change the ribbon on a typewriter, then he's your man.
Exactly, like Jack said, Garnacho's just going to be labelled a racist now. Yeah. That's the problem. He's really.
If it is, I haven't seen it. But if it is, well then
it's not even
doing it. Even Garnacho is a bit of a player who plays on emotion, and I think that's going to get into his head a bit.
Yeah, if you do something if you do something even unintentional that's racist, you're going to get a ban. And fair enough. If it's deliberate, then if it's deliberate, it should be. I'd give him 6 months. But
Onana replied to it. I don't know. I don't want to go into it loads. I think Silva's was a little bit less. Silva's was wrong, but it was Silva's, a bit less.
Do you reckon that's?
I think the Garnacho thing is proper to the point. I don't think, but with the Bernardo thing, unless you knew that character was what it stood for in that country, and then you you know what I mean? There's a different way around it.
Yeah, no.
He also directed it to a teammate who's his best mate, who they were teammates since their early days of Monaco.
Yeah.
While Garnacho does it to a teammate who's only been there for a couple of months.
I think you're being a little bit generous to Bernardo there. Bernardo used.
I do think Bernardo was stupid.
Bernardo used a brand.
Yeah, don't get me wrong.
That was no different to, Robinson's jam, which we would consider deeply offensive, and we wouldn't think that anyone would do that without thinking. So, I think you're being a bit. Whereas something else could just be read as you're the daddy.
I know what you're
I
saying.
think we need to be careful.
It's not a cancel culture. It's not a cancel culture. It's use your brain culture, Super Set.
Yeah.
And he hasn't used his brain.
Common sense culture.
Yeah, he hasn't used his brain because... No. Yeah. Anyway, let's get off.
No one can judge intent, can they?
Obviously,
on
there was
social media.
Pat, there was some rumours going out today that obviously Foden confirmed by Pep on this. This wasn't rumour. Hazard a bit of a niggle. Got them one of those famous niggles of Pep Guardiola's. A little bit of a knock, so he didn't play. Apparently, Ake's got a slight knock today. That obviously, I think they'll address that over the next day or two, just to see how he is. We'll find out more tomorrow in Pep's presser, no doubt about it. Obviously, Foden and Ake, if they've got slight niggles, would you risk them, bench them, or would you know we need 100% fully fit, go for Sunday?
I suppose, again, it comes down to the decision of the medical team. If they can play with a knock, given after this game we have got a week's break, which to me in the long run of a season is absolute gold, is striking gold. Another plus point as to why I'm glad we didn't progress in the Carabao Cup, because they do play that match middle of next week. So for me, I think given it, if it's a knock that is playable, they can play with, why not go all hell for leather, knowing that in 7 days' time, but our next game isn't for another 7 days, and it is, I believe it's at home against Bournemouth too, so that is a game we can factor in maybe resting some players. I would gladly get your best players out there, regardless if they're carrying a little bit, but if they're able to carry it for 70, 80, 90 minutes, then go for it. This is a derby. You need to play your best, because United are going to have question marks regarding fitness as well too. They've got a pretty long injury list as well too, so they'll be wanting to put their absolute best out there as much as they can.
I disagree with you a bit. I wouldn't risk a player. I wouldn't risk a player if playing a player is given a chance of them being out for 2 months. I wouldn't risk them even in a derby. I think the price we could pay for having an important player out for 2 or 3 months that's far bigger than we'd lose in the derby. Far bigger than one player in a derby. We've got bigger things. Honestly, we have now, not necessarily us as fans, because for us it'll be one of the biggest days, but as a club we've got far bigger things to go for than winning a derby. It's not a cup final.
I get what you're saying, Rich, too, but I'm also factoring in the stretch of fixtures that we have too, because after this one, we've only got about another 3 or 4 fixtures before an international break. So,
about 2 months.
If a player was to go down, it's not exactly a terrible run of fixtures to be lost to. So, I don't know. I mean, to me, it's like if these little niggles that Pep said were an issue, then I'll be just as surprised as to why they went on the plane to Switzerland. I thought they would be they'd be rested and left in the hands of the medical team back in Manchester. So I don't know. I mean, again, the big one comes down to what does Pep say? What's his best advice from his trusted medical team? So we'll just have to go from there. But if he rests them, I'm sure we have plenty of options anyway. So
do you know what? If a player gets out for 2 months, that's Chelsea away, that's Liverpool, that's Leipzig. I mean, that's going through to the world. That's Tottenham, it's Villa away. I mean, we have between now and Christmas, which if a player got an 8-week injury, they're back in the new year. Between now and Christmas, we've got 7, 8, 9 hard, very important games, and it's all very well saying we can survive without one player, but then the next player goes down. And what happens if we risk Foden and we lose Foden, and then Alvarez or Bernardo goes down? We've suddenly got a problem like we had a few weeks ago. We're just losing Rodri and, not having Rodri, not having Stones, and we're losing to 3 teams in 2 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, we've had players play with knocks before, Rich. So, again, it comes down to the manner of what it is and what does the medical team say.
Yeah, I mean, if it's no
different than other,
like
if it's no different than knocks that we've heard players play on before, then
I honestly think both will be probably fine.
Yeah.
I said we'll know more.
Phil will want to play. Yeah, Phil and
Yeah.
Ake will want to play.
Andrew, by the way, I do want to put your comment on. I was trying to get. I will come to all the comments in a minute. Andrew was just talking about how the two young City fans have now been banned from City for the singing of the sickening Bobby Charlton song. I know the media have called it chanting. The problem was it was a group of people within, or two people who started it and a few joined in on the concourse at half time, being idiots, singing a very disgusting song, distasteful, shouldn't have been done, should never celebrate death in any way. It's not banned, so death ain't banned now. And I will be honest, obviously the Great Manchester Police are going to be involved. Some are saying why, because it's classed as a hate crime. And then someone said, freedom of speech. Right. The one thing I will say on freedom of speech, yes, there is freedom of speech. Doesn't mean there's no freedom of speech without consequence. I can say whatever I want on air. Doesn't mean there's no consequences back on the other side. So, yes, you have got freedom of speech. Like I said, doesn't mean there's no consequences, though. So, so we can't even really use the drinking as an excuse because they were actually minors and they've been identified as minors. So, no, you won't know the names.
How long have they been banned for?
It looks like an indefinite ban.
Right.
City have really gone to task on it. They're going to make an example, it looks like.
Yeah.
They're going to be banned from home and away games. Yeah. It's not just home games, they're going to be banned from home and away. And
it's interesting how we've kind of exploded the story as well, because it seemed to be, an absolute tiny minority, and honestly, at every football match, every week, there will be a group of teenage idiots singing something equally bad. You'll get that. And it seems to me it's been allowed to blow up into a massive story, implying it's a huge problem at City when it really isn't. And I've got no doubt we'll behave impeccably this weekend. But it just seems that the media, and we've actually helped the media make it a bigger story than it is.
See, but somehow like Olympics there saying involving the police is insane. It's a hate crime. It can be issued as a hate crime. And also, the other reason they could involve the police is because of they may want to put them on the register to be banned. And they have to do that with the police to get them banned so they can't try and get back in the stadium. So that's the other thing.
Yeah, once they blow up, they have to. I mean, the police, it's like the United fan who wore that shirt mocking Hillsborough at the, which game was it earlier in the season, who actually had, the number and the name on the back to mock Hillsborough and got arrested. I think it was at the FA Cup final, actually. It's the police have to, but that doesn't
wasn't
mean
he called out by his own fan base too? Rich,
I think he probably was.
Common sense prevailed in that one, and there was a fan base.
Well, I think probably saving him from getting beaten to a pulp. And so the sad thing is that teenagers and alcohol, there's very, very few sensible teenagers with loads of alcohol, and I bet you a lot of the City fans who've jumped in on the bandwagon, absolutely hammering those kids, did it themselves when they were young. So I think I think we all need to remind people how they should behave and try and older City fans should just be pulling them into line a bit and, just making them realise on weeks like this.
I agree with Buxton here, Rich.
In this derby, just behave ourselves.
The kids do need an education.
Yeah.
They need to be educated on what's right. But again, this comes back to what we were saying ages ago about social media and how social media plays a massive influence because you get this. Because the trouble is social, I know it's blaming social media, but it is a faceless society in some part of it. and you can type what you want with no consequence. Put a fake name in,
Yeah.
fake.
No face, no account. No face, no accountability.
Yeah, and you just get this. Here we go, and that's part of the problem. So they think then if they get away with it on social media, they can take it to the real world and do it there. And I know that's mad. That is mad to think that. But there are people out there who will think, I get away with it on social media. I can get away with it in the real world, because they can't separate the two, because some people live on social media.
And you know, we all know when you're a teenager and you've had a few drinks, all you're thinking about is how you're going to impress your mates or impress the girl you like, or, you know, show off or wind up an adult or whatever it is. And teenage boys are, you know, do have a lot of time. And I say this speaking for myself as a teenage boy, are idiots a lot of the time. They don't have the same filters. They don't have the same experience. They don't understand consequences, and they do stupid things. And, you know, we as older fans need to just pull them in line when they're doing things that are stupid and try and minimize it, and not let a club who generally, I think, is incredibly respectful to things like this, not let a few drunk teenagers who at the time were probably being clever, trying to have a laugh, ruin the reputation of a team. Because, you know, and I hope on Sunday we behave impeccably, because I remember the game in 2008 when the entire press and the entire world was desperate to paint how bad we were as supporters, desperate that we were going to behave, and we behaved absolutely brilliantly, because we as fans knew that Munich wasn't just something about United, it was something about the city of Manchester. It was something where one of our greatest players, Frank Swift, was involved. It was something where, you know, sisters lost brothers, mums lost sons, kids lost parents. It was a tragedy. And, you know, I just hope we continue to show that, despite what, you know, certain elements will try and paint us in the press, we're a bloody fantastic bunch of supporters who actually know our history and know what some of these things mean. And yeah, rant over.
The problem is, like BB's put, our city's spying on us now. There is always cameras on the concourse. There's cameras on the street, BB.
BB, we still got a fan that was banned back in 2019 in the derby when he made the monkey chants towards one of the United players.
You can't.
So they're always, yeah. Everywhere you walk around the ground, you're under a microscope.
You got to remember, BB.
Fans are recording it. Fans are recording it.
Yeah, you're going onto private land. I know it's the council land, but City still owns some of it, and they can do what they want. You're on their land; they can do. The police are CCTV in it for racism, for aggravating, you know, throwing the coins. That's how they got that fan who threw the coins. You know, the fan who did the disgusting monkey chants. That's how they get them, is by filming them. And so never think you're at City and you can't get filmed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Never think that.
Even if you're not looking at the official cameras that are all around the stadium, you've got probably 200 fans who are filming something or taking selfies or doing something at the same time. And you've also probably got about 6 or 7 YouTube channels where someone's down from Rochdale for the day, you know, doing a show on what the Premier League's like, or one of the City channels is interviewing fans about whether they think we're going to do better in the second half. I mean, you have to kind of assume if you're outside your own house, you're being filmed.
I'd say common sense on that, BB. Defies hate is common. Hate can be what you probably find as offensive. Honestly, in this country, BB, I'm not kidding you. If you can call a policeman something, and you can be arrested for it. For example, if you call a policeman a pig, I've seen people arrested for that. Mm-hmm. It is a personal choice on what you take offense of. Whether it stands up in a court of law is a different matter. But you're not doing that. This is got to be careful. When you go into football grounds, you're on private land. And this is why when you go to away games, City send you a big, massive email alongside the ticket telling you you are representing Manchester City Football Club. When Pat went to Turkey, he will have had a big long letter or a big thing saying you are representing the club out there. Do not show us up. Do not do anything wrong. We will ban you.
On top of UEFA saying basically we're watching everything you do, never mind your own club. Yeah.
It's City now. If your child runs onto the pitch who's under 16, so a minor, even if the dad or the mum or the brother or the sister or whichever adult family member is with them does not run on the pitch, but the child does, the child and the adult get banned. So, because you're responsible for your child.
And I'd add one other thing on that hate speech is that the police investigating it doesn't mean it is hate speech. It means they're checking if it's hate speech, because hate speech essentially...
I think singing about a dead person, Rich, is not
going down. Not necessarily, because normally the hate speech laws relate to you, you know, on the basis of race, religion, gender, sexuality, all those things. So yeah, and they're minors, so they won't get charged by the police, I'm sure, but they'll be given a bit of a scare, and that's probably what.
Let's put it on, mate. I'll give you an example. I shouldn't really do this, and I won't go into it. My child at school was involved in an incident, and the school were threatening the police to come in and chat to the group of children. I work in a school, as you know. We can get police in to speak to children. It is this anyway. We're going way off topic now and going right into politics. Let's get back to why we're all here. There's 130 of you. If you can smash that like button, that'd be amazing. If you are brand new, please hit that subscribe button. We are trying to hit 3,000 subs as soon as possible. I'm trying to get through all your comments, but as I said, there's 130 of you on. If you are desperate to chat, and we never do this, but there's not normally 130 people on, hit that $sign. There is a super chat. If you are desperate, I may be about 5-10 minutes behind on your comments now because we've got to get on with the show as well.
I'll get on with discussing the smashing of the Regs this weekend.
Like I said, City are coming off 2 wins. We did get beat there last season, so United will probably take a lot of confidence in that. United have won 3 on the bounce. Does form matter going into a derby, or is it out the window? It's a derby, because I will remind everyone there was times when we were crap and we beat United.
I was going to mention at the top of the show. I've always been a belief any big derby around the world, the form goes out the door.
Right. Yeah.
And by the way, we weren't 8th. We were like 18th, and we beat them.
Couple of things here. One, they've won 3 games, but Brentford and Copenhagen at home, right? And it's not the Brentford of last season. It's not the Brentford with Ivan Toney. It's not the Brentford who beat us at home last year. And then Sheffield United, who an out of form Newcastle stuck 27 goals past, away. So let's be quite clear. For a mid-table championship side, that's 3 good wins. That's not spectacular form. My feeling in the derby is that form matters in reverse. If we won our last 10 and were playing brilliantly, I'd be more worried going into the derby.
Because I've seen that before.
Firing. I didn't think we were, we went in last season and the derby sparked us. I thought we'd been a bit on and off, and we actually sparked in the derby last season. I remember in the Invincible season, a couple of times around, not Invincible, sorry, the Centurions, I'm getting carried away there, where we, we were miles better than United. We should have, been beating them 7 or 8-0 based on the form of the teams. And they beat us a couple of times, 2 seasons on the trot at the Etihad. And so therefore, I actually feel more confident when the form isn't great for us than when we're absolutely flying.
Because it's like going in as like an unknown commodity.
We've got a point.
We're going as an unknown commodity. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if winning 7 from 9 and 3 from 3 in the Champions League is considered a real dip of form, then it basically shows that if we drop a point, that it's gold dust to United. Honestly, if that's out of form of the 12, because I won't count the Carabao Cup because of their World Club Championship and the side. Honestly, 13 games, including the Super Cup, that mattered, and we've lost a couple. I mean, that's terrible. I mean, no wonder everyone's calling for Pep's head, if we're in that bad form.
I said this tonight. I said, hang on a minute, if we're in bad form, why has Ten Hag not been sacked?
And honestly, if Rodri had been playing, we'd probably be 13 from 13, because the gap was so close in those two in those 2 league games we lost. We could have beaten Wolves easy, and Arsenal, one of our worst performances, and yet we've seen in a few years, and yet we only lose by a deflected goal at the end.
Give over, Rich. That's garbage, what you just said. The Wolves game was worse than that.
It was, yeah.
You can't.
Okay,
Rich,
no.
Sit here and tell me it wasn't. Don't try to defend that Arsenal was worse than Wolves.
Okay.
Please don't.
Okay. The performance was worse against Wolves. I'll admit that. But I just found that I just still didn't feel like we were even trying to score against Arsenal. I just felt we were playing for 0-0. And I didn't feel like that against Wolves. Against Wolves, I felt we were actually trying to win the game. Against Arsenal, honestly, I felt like we want 0-0.
Yeah, I get that.
You're right. I'm not. Yeah. Level of
That's the reason why people wanted Pep out, because of people like you going, that Arsenal game was the worst in 20 years.
But
do you not remember Stuart Pearce days, Rich? Rich, I will remind you.
I do.
We scored 10 goals from January to the end of the season. 10 goals.
Yeah, the difference is that after that 0-0 against Arsenal, I shrugged my shoulders, because I don't think it's going to have any effect on the league this season at all.
Exactly.
So
Pat, you're not on the beach.
Didn't have to get worked up about
it. Doing here? He's like, I'll just let you and Rich go out here.
Yeah. What, fiercely agreeing?
No,
but honestly, just ask you a question. Honestly,
go
on. Fully fit squads this weekend. How many United players would you pick in a combined Manchester 11? Honestly,
don't, because I'm doing that at the end. We're going to do a combined Manchester 11. Just wait.
But that's my point.
Yeah, I know, and I'm coming to it. All right then, Pat. What do United have to do to beat Manchester City on Sunday?
Well, I think they need to get the lead first, because I think they need something. I think they need a lead to have something to play for the remainder of the game. We've seen that before. We've seen before where they've come in as the underdog, and if they get a sniff of a lead at any point in the game, it gives them something to play for. And the more that we have to chase the game, the more that they can have a control over the game as well too. So I think that is the big key for them. In terms of battles in the midfield or defense or anything like that, I wouldn't be surprised if United are looking to try and, hopefully defend in a way that they can control our tempo and then hit us on a break, a change of tempo on the break and things like that, because they've done that to us before. And I think that is probably their best weapon against us. Hopefully, they'll also be targeting Rodri, defensive midfield area of the pitch as well too, because the one thing that we can be slightly vulnerable for is if we lose the ball in transition. So that is probably probably I wouldn't say that's where the game is won or lost, but it's certainly an area where if we shut up shop and do the right thing, we'll make their day difficult.
Spot on what Blue Out's saying. On paper, we should win it. It's not always done like that.
But on turf, yeah.
Rich, where is it you think United could beat us? And then I'll say where I think they will.
Do you know? You think they will?
Could. Sorry, could.
They
No,
could.
yeah.
Right,
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, I clicked that in my head as you were saying that in yours.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think it's a bit. I'd have said the same in a way if you went to a derby 25 years ago when we were miles off them. They beat us if we're off our game, if we're complacent, and if we don't play well. So, yes, Pat, you're right. The transition on the break, using their pace and everything, but that will only happen if we're sloppy with our passing, if we're not closing down as hard as we can in the game, if we're not on it. You know, if we're on it and we are playing at our best, there's only maybe 1-2 teams in Europe who, playing at their best, could go toe-to-toe with City playing well. And United are not even close to one of those teams. You know, I see peak Real Madrid, peak Bayern Munich, you know, peak Liverpool, if they don't have to defend, possibly go with us. But United aren't one of them. But if we're sloppy, if we don't pass crisply, if we're not on our game, then we can beat ourselves. Because, you know, they have players who are good enough to get goals on the break, make a finish if someone gives it to them on a plate. And, you know, we've seen it. We saw it last year in the derby when we won 6-3. We should have got on to win that 12-13-0. We were absolutely crushing them. But a few substitutes, the team relaxed and we let them get goals. That wasn't them improving how they played. That was us letting them get it. And I know Pep's thinking, well, we're 4 or 5-0 up and we need to rest play. Or I can't remember, was it 6-1? We need to rest the players. You know, we need to see this out. You know, think about next Wednesday's game. We, the fans, are wanting, right, we want to play like this for 90 minutes. We want to crush them out of sight. And yeah, I just see that. If the team that played the last half hour in that game turns up, you know, we're not really trying, we're not crisp, we're not fighting, then they can get a result. The team that played the first half turned up, they haven't got a chance.
Did last night's game show you, with Alvarez being rested, Bernardo being rested, or rotated, dropped, whatever you want to call it, does that show they've been safe for weekend? Foden we know about, because obviously he was on a slight knock. Bernardo Alvarez, for me, was they're going to play on Sunday.
Yeah, and I think Gvardiol and Walker, that was,
yes,
you know, that was 110% about, you know, having
spot on BB,
you know,
by the way, with that.
Quicker and quickest fullbacks rested fully for the derby, where they might have to play against a bit of pace and a bit of break. I think that was a huge thing.
Do we think Gvardiol is done enough this season to be thrown into a derby?
Oh, yeah.
I think
yeah, absolutely.
5,000%.
Yeah, not even question. And I think
he's
that's
looking like the signing of the summer so far.
Yeah, that's why I'm not worried about.
At the beginning.
Yeah.
But
I'm not worried about Ake. I'm not worried about Ake because I don't think, when you said Ake's got a knock, I don't think Ake was going to be playing. I think Gvardiol's coming back, and I think it'll be Stones and Diaz.
Where do you land? Because I'll tell you what I'd do. Some will disagree with this. I really like the Grealish on the left, Doku on the right combination last night. If Foden has got a knock,
yeah, that'll be played.
Yep.
Personally,
it's something different.
It is if Foden has got the knock. I would go Grealish, Haaland, Grealish, Doku, Bernardo Silva, Rodri, Alvarez.
Would you have Bernardo out on the right as like a bit of a link up with Doku?
Nope.
No. He's in midfield.
I'd put him in midfield. That Grealish, because I thought Grealish looked a lot more confident last night. Could have had 3 assists, like I said, on the post-match. Doku thought grew into his right wing. People forget this. Doku is a right winger. plays there for Belgium, played there for Rem. I know he can do the left wing as well, but he is predominantly a right winger. I know Pep likes the invertedness, but I think you got the best of both worlds. You got the control with the directness sometimes with Jack, and you got the directness with Doku.
Yeah, I think Jack will play. I think Jack will play. My only question is that given the nature of the derby and stuff, is that Pep does have a tendency to maybe play a slightly more controlling defensive lineup, and it's not impossible, especially if Alvarez is playing, that we'll see Bernardo on the right wing, Grealish on the left, and then someone like a Kovacic playing in midfield.
I'm not going to lie to you, Rich. No, I don't want Kovacic or Nunes in that midfield.
No, I'm not saying that's what
I'm not having to. Before anyone goes, I think you're digging them. I'm not. And I said it last night to Pat. The Nunes-Kovacic combination doesn't work together. It don't work.
Yeah, but no one's saying play them together. I'm saying that I would not be surprised in a big game away from home if Pep plays Bernardo, puts Doku on the bench, plays Bernardo and Grealish wide. If he's playing Alvarez, which I'm sure he is.
Kill him, Rich.
Then, no.
Got him like a fish.
Yeah, yes, we'd love that. But I'm saying I would not be surprised. Pep, in those games, time after time in previous years, played Bernardo in that attacking so that he could fit in Gundogan and Rodri always in the team. So I think that could happen. I would not be surprised at all. I'd like to go Doku and have him just charging down the flanks at him, but I have a sneaky feeling he'll play Bernardo and Grealish and Haaland in the front three and get Kovacic with Alvarez, assuming Foden's injured. If Foden's fit, maybe Foden gets that nod.
I do like the idea of Doku on the right. I think given the fact that he'll probably be playing up against Reguilon, who's on loan this season because Luke Shaw's out with a long-term injury. I think Luke Shaw's the sort of player who he always turns up for derbies. So I think he probably would have been able to maybe have a little bit more of an answer for Doku. And I think given that they do play a bit of a rotation now between Reguilon, and I think occasionally they do play Lindelof out there as like a left back / left centre back, similar to like what we do with Guardiola. So I think if Doku's able to play a good game in that, I think he could create a lot of headaches down that right hand side there, left defensively. So I'll be curious to see if Pep starts him, how he plays. But again, this is a sort of game where, as we said on the last night's show, Martin is. Yeah, Doku is one of those players where if he's going to start, you're only going to have him for 60, 70 minutes in the hope that he can just cause headaches for their defense.
Yeah. I have a feeling Doku won't start. I'd probably pick him if I was manager, but I have a feeling he won't start.
I think this is a great point by Pardo. We'll know after 5 minutes if we're up for it. You can always tell with a City team in the first 5.
Yep.
If you do that, get the ball from kickoff and go all the way back to Edison, you know where you're going with it. If you do that ball out to 5 minutes and we go.
Yeah, but Martin, last time we did that to him, we scored in 12 seconds.
Yeah, true. But that was true.
Hated, adored, Gundogan scored.
Do you know what? Yeah. I'd love to do that sometimes. I'd love to do the old ball over the top to Ireland. Stick Ireland on the penalty area and go bang. Yeah. Give him a plan B. And because I'll tell you what, what that would take, though, to do that is Pep to be brave, to bypass midfield completely. And number 2, it would take an opposition to be brave to put one defender on Haaland. So not usual 2 and 3 men covering Haaland. You'd have to go proper one-on-one, let Haaland bully him off. I don't think anyone's going to do that. That's why I don't think we'll do it.
I so want to see Alvarez just lurking, and then he just plays a 1-2 off to it and bang. Yeah.
I so want to see Haaland and Maguire in a foot race.
Do you know what? Do you know what? By the way, if you can smash those likes, really does help the channel. Like I said, super chats are available if you are desperate to have your comment read out immediately. If you're happy to wait, Don't worry about it. See, Neil's put here, Martial and Garnacho are the biggest threats. The United fans tonight were talking about Garnacho a lot. They were really bigging up the Garnacho. Rashford, they're so about. But again, you look at Garnacho, you look at Rashford, you look at Martial. What is the one thing they've all got in common?
Stupid haircuts.
And that's it. Good night, everyone.
They're not the brightest. Oh,
yeah. There's your top three for salon.
I was going with pace, and you just came out with stupid haircuts. Oh, okay. No, I can't top. I can't. By the way, I didn't realise we were wearing caps tonight. I've left mine. Yes, pace. Will United do what they always do with us? Ball over, like Solskjaer used to do. Solskjaer had one tactic against us. Ball back, punt, Rashford, run on. Does Pep think that again, which is why you're thinking Walker's been rested out, so Walker can go pace for pace with Rashford?
I think that's why Walker's played a lot this season, but I think Walker and Guardiola were rested so that they are at absolute peak fitness and ready for the derby, because I think he realises we are probably going to have a few times when we're going to need them covering in the centre-back, especially if Stones is pushing up. We're going to need them, on the game with the pace. And with Akanji, who's probably the next fastest, out, we're definitely going to go Diaz and Stones, which would always be my first choice centre-backs. I think that just, it means Walker and Guardiola are important.
Pat, are you expecting this pace from United?
Yeah, I think some of their players will resort to it if they can't win battles in certain areas. So, yeah, could be old tricks from them if things don't.
I agree with this from Michael David. I think we're on the verge of giving someone a good idea.
Yeah. The only thing that worries
Look at it this way. Mark, look at it this way. When we beat them 6-3 last season, we just come off an international break. And then I believe after that we beat Copenhagen 5-0, we beat Southampton 4-0. So
no, but do you know what I hate?
No, I know. But what I'm saying is that it wasn't necessarily about the international break. It was just like the derby sort of got us into a gear where we finally started hitting a rhythm.
No, I agree.
Hitting the onion bag, and off we went.
But do you know what really annoys me with Pep sometimes? We get, and we talked about it again. I'm sorry, I keep referring back to the show tonight, and because it was so intriguing with it. And by the way, some have asked me if you go into your search engines and just type in Total Football BBC Manchester, it will come up with tonight's episode. It'll have a list of episodes, the latest one. You can click onto it and listen to it. So BBC Manchester Total Sport, it'll be on there. But you have to put BBC Manchester in. The one thing I will say, like last season, Liverpool beat United 7-0. And they didn't take the foot off the pedal. The foot was down on that accelerated even more in the second half than what it was in the first. Last season, we get to like 4, 5, 6, and then Pep goes, 3 of you off, 3 of you on. And then we drop. Because like tonight, the United fans were celebrating that they scored 3 in the second half last season against us, even in a 6-3.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they were holding on to the fact that they beat us in the second half.
No, but it's the fact is, I don't want us to give us I don't want to give them this 3 goals at the end because we feel damn sorry for them. Bollocks. I want to go and smash them 6, 7, and 8 then.
Yeah, we want to be playing in injury. We want to be playing in injury time like we did in the 6-1. Till the last second of that game, trying to get more goals.
Do that. He's done it a couple of times, Leipzig, and he did it against Forest last season. But generally, he sort of gets like Leicester 3-0, 3 out, 3 in. No, screw it, kill him. I really do. Sorry, I really want to.
We've got a week between matches, so we can play our best team full 90 minutes.
So right,
I want to bring Calvin Phillips on after the hour when we're 4-0 up.
Can you imagine if he scores the winner? Oh my god!
No, he'll only come on if we're 4-0 up. So unless they pull 4 goals back.
But you know what? Even if he came on, he scored the 5th or something like that, we'd probably celebrate as much as if he scored the winner.
Apparently, Fulham are now showing an interest in Calvin Phillips for a Paulinho back replacement. Wan-Bissaka's not playing Blue Art. I thought that, but then I got told tonight he was injured. There's no Wan-Bissaka. I'm not sure Casemiro will play.
Yeah, I go. Lissandro's out for Lissandro's out for a couple of months. Yeah,
I thought they had like 500 players injured. Is De Gea going to be back in time for the derby?
Is he actually coming back?
He needs to extend his record of most derby
goals.
There you
go. Rich, got no defenders. Malacia, the Butcher, Bissaka, Shaw, all out. That's why they've got Harry Maguire and Johnny. Hey, it's going to feel like that 6-1 with Johnny Evans at the back again, won't it?
Yeah.
Johnny Evans, you might know, I'm not going on that pitch.
No, it'll be.
Played these.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be Varane.
They want to make us feel it too.
It'll be Varane and Maguire, won't it?
I'm glad. What was the midfield versus Brighton? Good question. Oh, you've
Rodri, Foden, Alvarez,
Foden, Bernardo,
and Rodri. Yeah,
and Rodri. Yeah. Shaw, I'm so glad Shaw is injured because Shaw has actually been one of their better players when he plays us.
Which I never.
He does step up in a derby. Yeah.
He does come alive in a derby for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Paul, did I say Paul Tierney was the ref on Sunday? Does that worry anyone?
As long as it's not Stuart Atwell.
I think the 4th official's the most worrying on.
The officials are. I will tell you the full list of officials.
The 4th official's the entire board at the FA.
The official is Paul Turner. He's been named. He's 42 years old. He's officiated 6 matches so far, 28 yellows, 3 reds. So he does like to throw a red in. He did take charge of the FA Cup final against United at Wembley in June. The assistant refs will be Neil Davis and Scott Ledger. And the VAR, are you ready? Rich knows who I'm saying here. The VAR is Mr. Michael Oliver.
Yeah.
Why, when I said that, you see, Rich already knew, and Pat was like waiting for the trepidation to come out. Is Nunes in chance for playing? I don't think Nunes will play.
No.
I think there was a reason Nunes and Kovacic played last night. And I think there was a reason Bernardo and Alvarez was left on the bench. And I've got to say, Alvarez and Bernardo looked damn good when they came on last night.
Yep.
Definitely. You can, Pep's getting to that place, and he started to get the last season where in the Champions League we can rotate 5 or 6 and have a less tired team on the following weekend. So I felt, it's very, very deliberate. Gvardiol, Walker, Bernardo, Alvarez, Foden. I thought there was some very deliberate resting of players.
We only mentioned no Foden in mid because of the slight knock he's got at the moment, Ethan. That may change tomorrow. If Foden's fit, he plays. And believe it or not, I would not play Bernardo.
Basically, he's out until higher powers say otherwise.
I think if he's fit, then I think Bernardo plays. Bernardo for me, any big game.
All right, then.
Bernardo plays.
Have you dropped Doku?
Yeah, 100%. If
I get it. Fair enough.
100%. I'd start Bernardo in any big game we ever play because
we did say that against Arsenal.
Tactical flexibility.
No, he didn't.
Bernardo likes a goal at Old Trafford too.
He didn't start Doku or Grealish, Scotty. Doku came on. He dropped both of them. Scotty, against Arsenal. By the way, Julie, that's a great point because there was a quiz tonight. Sorry, I'm going on my turn again. There was a quiz tonight and they asked about the starting 11 from the derby last season at Old Trafford. I totally forgot Cancelo played in it.
Yeah.
Do you know when you erase everything of Cancelo? I just erased everything out of my mind about him. So I completely forgot Cancelo played last season. Because last season, if you look at it, we went with Foden and Mahrez on the wings. With Kyle Walker. Stones and Diaz didn't play last season, if you remember.
Rodri didn't play in the first one.
He did. The one at Old Trafford
No,
did.
in the
the 6-3. 6-3 didn't,
6-3 didn't.
Yeah. I forget.
We had
it's like Bobby against Fanny. By the way, I will say that, Cade, I know you're going. Any City fan on Sunday going, please stand up. And I said this, Sunday is a celebration. Yes, we're rivals. Yes, we don't like each other. But 2 Manchester legends of football passed away in the last 2 weeks. So Bobby Charlton and Francis Lee CBE. We need to be upstanding as a club and remember that Manchester has lost 2 greats of football. And we need to not just, I mean, it was lovely to see Mike Somerville went to Old Trafford today and laid a wreath down for Sir Bobby Charlton, which was lovely to see. I get it's football. I know there's a rivalry, but like I said, death is something that goes beyond all that. You've got to be respectful. Because this is the thing. I'm sorry, I'll come on to the next question, which leads me into it. Either of you can answer this while I just nip. I've just got to nip somewhere for 2 seconds. Has the derby lost its spice lately? Not for fans, but for the players. And what I mean is, has derbies recently lost the edge? Like when we played with Mickey Richards and Eddie Manua, you had Scholes, all them in the United team. Has it, they were going in thundering each other within the first 2 minutes. Is the derby now too friendly? I'll leave you to the next one.
Martin, I'd add the fans in a bit as well, because I don't think to a lot of the fans it's quite the game it was. It was 25 years ago. We have to be honest. 25 years ago, winning the derby, especially when we're coming off that run from 1989 to 2003, winning the derby was huge. It was a bit like a cup final, and I know the regs used to take the piss. It's your cup final, but it was a bit like that. It really mattered because we knew we weren't going to win the league. We knew we weren't going to win the cup. But the derby, was massive. You were gloating about it for weeks, months, if you won the derby. Whereas I think now, honestly, if we win the derby, most City fans will be on to the next thing next week. It won't be the glow, because we've won about, we've probably won nine derbies at Old Trafford in recent years. So I don't think to the fans it's as big as it was 20 years ago, but to the players, it's to the players, and especially when you have managers coming in from outside, it is another Premier League game to most of them. And what matters is the 3 points, and it's the 3 points from for the league. It's not even so. I think in all aspects it isn't quite what it was, and I put that down to United's mediocrity.
Pat?
Yeah, I think there was a bit more animosity at a time before I probably really started getting into watching City myself. But you feel that with the success of one team being overlapped by the success of another, you felt like it didn't take too long before a little bit of venom came out of the game, whether it be from the fans, whether it be from the players. And the other thing too is like, I look back on derbies now and it's like, I do kind of miss and it doesn't seem that long ago, but I do kind of miss the derbies, when we had Mancini there, with Mancini bickering on the sideline with Fergie and that, when we're trying to go for a title race, when we're trying to pit them, I do kind of miss those days, because it wasn't just because they were fun times and we're sort of just going, we're just new to being successful and going for trophies, you know, something that we hadn't done for generations. It was more for the fact that it didn't take too long after we'd won an FA Cup and a league title that United sort of just started to drop off a bit. And for that reason, it was just like, for me, it was like, I remember after we won the league against QPR, I was like, I don't mind if we keep having title races against United. I just don't want to have to win them again in that sort of situation again. So for me, it's like, I do, you know, when the fixtures come out, normally the first thing I do is I'll pencil in the derby. But I do find that these days, whether we win or whether we lose, it's like I do feel like I've forgotten about it a lot faster than I did in previous years. And a few of my mates who are United fans here too feel the same way as well. Whether they win it, whether they lose it, they do seem to not sort of carry it with them for as long as they did in previous years.
Yeah, I just feel that, and I get it, because a lot of the players, they're all friends with each other, friends of family, kids all go to the same school, and they don't have that passion anymore.
Mm.
I'm not being funny. Roy Keane and Mickey Richards, they've got the banter even on Sky TV right now. You can imagine on the football pitch kicking shit out of one another in a derby.
Mm.
You can just see it, can't you? But you just don't see that now.
It's funny because in some ways that, you know, there are elements of that even going back. You know, Mike Summerby and George Best were best mates. You know, they had businesses together. They, you know, there was actually quite a bit going out drinking with City and United players back in those days. But then you had Mike Doyle and his absolute visceral hatred of United, and so that kept things in check. So when they're playing derbies, oh dear,
Blue Heart. Are you popping the Christmas crackers too early?
No, Blue Heart is channeling the great man from Llanelli, Tommy Cooper, isn't he? Yeah, you're that is Tommy Cooper. I'm pretty sure.
Rich, go away. No, I won't say what I'm going to say because I'll get you being against all the Welsh. Well, it's not Anthony Taylor. No.
I hope you're not going to be rude about Tommy Cooper.
No, it's not Anthony Taylor. Surely Anthony Taylor can't do it. Yeah. Super City put a lineup out a minute ago. I think I've just missed it. I'm trying to fly through all your comments.
Has anyone put up a lineup with Scott Carson in it yet?
Ethan has.
Ethan has, yeah.
Cancelo
by default, yeah.
I'm joking, Ethan. We know. Ethan said get 5-0 up and then bring Carson on.
What position, Ethan? What position would you bring Carson on? In
number 10. Number 10.
Sean's gone with Eddie, Gavardio, Diaz, Walker, Rodri, Stones. Yeah, Alvarez, Jack, Haaland, Bernardo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's only 10 there, isn't there? Am I counting 10?
Someone's getting sent off.
Yeah, there's only 10 there, mate. You're missing a player, Sean. Add one in.
But Martin, maybe he thinks we can beat United with 10 men, and therefore it makes sense we rest a player and only start with 10. That would really mess with their heads.
Very, very true. That top of the league put it. Yeah, Sean, that's 10. Are we not better with 11?
We're playing with a phantom midfield.
Right. Okay. Here's my next question to you both. Here's a debate. I'm going to ask the exact same question as I got asked over there, because some of you won't miss this, won't get this. Question. Pep Guardiola or Sir Alex Ferguson?
For what?
Who's the better manager?
I've always answered
You weren't expecting that one.
Yeah. I've always answered this in one way, actually. I think they have different jobs. I think Pep's a coach. I think Pep is all about coaching the team, tactics and that. and Ferguson ran the whole club. Ferguson,
Mitch, stop.
Ferguson was a poor
Put you
coach.
straight back down.
No, but it's true. Ferguson
Straight
was a
back
poor
in me
coach
answer.
and a brilliant and an absolutely brilliant manager. Pep is an absolutely phenomenal coach, but he'd fall apart mentally if he had to deal with all the crap that Ferguson did. So, you know, I think the difference is I think Pep changed football. I don't think Ferguson did. I don't think there's anything that Ferguson brought to the game that changed the game. I think Pep, following on from Cruyff, has changed the way the game is played in every league in the world and changed the way football's played and changed the way positions are seen. So Pep will leave a legacy to football that is many times greater than Ferguson. But I don't know that Pep could have done what Ferguson did. Ferguson certainly couldn't have done what Pep's done.
I'm sorting that out sometime. I'm in talks with Steve at the minute, and then we'll get back when Steve's just very busy, and I've been mega busy. Like this weekend, I've got show after show. So yeah, derby weekends are just mad busy. So yeah, we will sort that out. Sorry, go on, Pat.
No, you're right. I was just agreeing with what Rich said, and I would find it hard to answer it because it is also a generational thing as well too.
I said that, and I got told I was wrong.
No, I don't think you're right.
I said it was a generation.
If you want to compare managers of a different generation, then you're going to then it comes back to I don't think you should compare lineups to a different generation because it's of a completely different time. It's just what we need to do is we need to acknowledge what was the best for what was best at that time, and don't compare them. Just accept what was best for that generation. I don't think comparing because it's too hard to compare. It's like in the same way where, you know, it's like I want to believe that, like for me, I take the word of those that I've met on all my travels in Manchester where they say that they still believe the best I've ever seen is Colin Bell, and I want to believe him because from what I've heard that I think he would still be a good player in today's modern game because the way he was able to maintain his body, the level of fitness and things like that is on a par with similar to what they do today. The only difference is obviously the technology and obviously the science behind it. It progressively got better as generations went along. So for me, that's the only time I might consider that is if when a certain player or a certain team from a generation, it does something that transcends what the generation of that football was doing, then it's probably worth comparing. But you can't compare 90s. You can't compare 90s Fergie to today's Pep because
that was what I was saying.
Yeah, you can't compare it
because Pep was a young manager when Fergie was in his pomp.
Yeah.
Now Pep's, and not only that, Ferguson was at United for how long? 20 years,
26 years, something like that. Yeah.
So I'm not being funny. Pep's only been at City 7. And then you get, then you get the argument, as I got tonight. Fergie built a team with youth. Because of the famous Alan Hansen line, you can't win anything with kids. Pep has apparently bought everything, even though they forgot about the Xavi and Iniesta, Messi.
Yeah, no, he won it.
To be honest, mate,
that was exactly the same, yeah.
No, it's not. No, that's not allowed, Rich.
Well,
to be honest, Martin, Pep has used the youth, but from a financial perspective.
But every United fan, Pat, has forgotten that Xavi, Iniesta, Messi, and one or two others came out of La Masia. They all completely, very much forgot about that. But what they also forgot was Gary Pallister, Steve Bruce, Peter Schmeichel were not training at the Cliff.
Yeah.
They were bought.
Yeah. And just remember...
It amazes me, this narrative that goes on.
Yeah.
So, and I'm with you. In the 90s, it was Fergie. I think if you put Fergie alongside Pep right now, there is only one winner.
Yeah.
And it ain't Fergie.
And if you can't take out time, then you just have to go on the facts. And I might be wrong in this, but I think they played against each other twice. And I don't think a United player touched the ball in either game. I think when... And we remember that was it the final where they played each other, Ferguson against Pep. United didn't touch the ball.
Question
So
I
when
got
they
asked
actually
that,
came,
Nardo.
when they came up against each other, Pep destroyed Ferguson. Destroyed
Here's
him.
one for you.
Embarrassed him.
1, 2, 3, 4 out of 6 people, I was the only one who didn't say Fergie out on his own.
Yeah, but that's just a myth. The other thing is Pep, you know, can you imagine Pep popping out to pull 17-year-old kids out of people's wardrobes because they're having a party? You know, Pep's too busy at home. Pep's too busy at home. Pep's too busy at home thinking about his 3-7.
He doesn't pull them out of their wardrobe.
Formation.
He doesn't pull them out of their wardrobe. He sends them off to Dortmund.
Do you know what makes me laugh?
Pep's a coach. Pep is a coach. He's a tactician.
Yeah,
and
Andrew agrees with you.
Fergie was not a good tactician.
No,
Fergie was not a good tactician.
You look at,
he was a brilliant club manager.
Yeah. Fergie put the fear of God into him.
Yeah, but Ferguson had Steve McLaren. This was McLaren's problem when he went to England and he went on his own to Middlesbrough. There was a big difference between being a coach and a manager. Steve McLaren, very, very good coach. Get him on the training pitch, he'll do wonders with you. Put him in a right. Let's start doing tactics now, guys, and let's start doing this and thinking about the opposition. Not so good. And that is probably the difference, because what you see now, you don't see a lot of managers. I don't think Arteta's down as the Arsenal manager, is he? I think he's down as head coach at Arsenal, I do believe. I'm sure so. Isn't Ancelotti the head coach at Real Madrid? There's this new term of head coach now. Yeah. And it has come from generally abroad. I know it's generally a foreign thing where this head coach title has come from. But for me, Ferguson had Steve McLaren and he had Carlos Queiroz. And who else did he have? He had
Brian Kidd.
Brian Kidd, and who was the other guy who was manager of Fulham for a bit? Oh, please, someone in the comments remember.
He was a German name, wasn't it?
Ralph. I don't know.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like he had very good coaches. Ferguson did not stand on the training pitch knocking a ball around.
No, he was up and down the country signing players. Yeah, you know, talking to, and that's the thing. Yeah, I had this argument with someone else the other day, and you know, if you look at stats, it was like who would win if the City treble side played the United treble side. The reality is, if the City treble side played the United treble side, City would win by about 15-0, because the game has changed. At the moment, compared to when United won the treble, players are sprinting nearly 2.5 times more in a game than they were in those days. So the game has been played. The game's just been played so much faster. They're so much fitter. The tactics are so much deeper. But it's not a fair comparison, because if the United side of that when the treble was playing today, all those players would be fitter. They'd be, you know, they'd be better. They'd be coached differently. And who knows? Some of them may be better than they were. Some may be worse. We won't know. So it's just it's like who'd win Rod Laver against, you know, Djokovic.
Well, have a go at me.
Rod Laver wouldn't get near a Djokovic serve.
Yeah. Don't shouting at me. Listen, hey, everyone. I'm asking the question I got asked on the show tonight live on air. That was the question that came up. So they wanted to talk about Blue Art. You need to put these Christmas crackers away, mate. Colonel Ward disagrees.
Celebrating Tommy Cooper.
Sir Alex is better, unfortunately. Also, Arsene Wenger in no way is Pep better for me. Colonel Ward, sorry. Pep destroys Wenger all day long. All day long, twice on Sunday. Wenger did very good in his day. Ferguson was better than Wenger, mate. Wenger never won a Champions League. Didn't do, you know, wasn't winning trebles and everything else. I don't even think Arsenal defended the title. I don't even think you defended your title. And that's,
do you know what?
Wenger's a very, very good manager.
Yeah. There's one thing, though. I think you could argue that Wenger had as big an impact on the game.
Yeah, I just said that. Yeah, he changed the game.
Yeah, because he changed it. And that's the thing. When you go into, you know, if someone was looking back on football in 100 years' time, someone like Wenger, someone like Guardiola's changed the sport. I don't think Ferguson changed the sport. I think he changed the business of football. I think he changed some of the off the field stuff, but I don't think he changed football. I don't think there's anything tactically or technically or in the game that Fergie really changed football. And I do think Wenger, not to the extent Guardiola did, but I do think Wenger changed football, especially in this country.
See, Julie, I think Pep does run City top to bottom. Yes, I know Soriano and Cheeky.
Maybe not runs, but he certainly works with City.
Pep's the boss.
Yeah.
Pep's the boss at City.
But the difference is Pep trusts other people.
Thank you. Rennie Muhlestein. Thank you, Buxton. Told you. I knew it began with them. Where is Brian Kidd today? He should be on the Mancunian way. Brian Kidd is enjoying a lovely retirement. Well deserved. Yep. Muhlestein, that's it. Thank you so much. Right. Like I said, that was just a question I got asked. Right. The starting 11s and Pat. What you
Can we cheer with each player?
What, boo?
He's going to say Scott Carson, isn't he? I can feel he's building up to it.
Go on, Pat. Right. Are we all saying Edison? No one's going to say
yes.
Silly and go, no.
Yep.
Right. Right back. Anyone different to Walker?
No.
Anyone different to John Stones?
No.
Anyone different to Diaz?
No.
Anyone different to Gavardio?
No.
Right, so we're all on the same bed. Obviously, Rodri.
No.
Oh, piss off. If you're going to start coming out with Calvin. Look, Julie, Mike blew out. Don't listen to Mike. I love the jokes. He's just popping his crackers early, Julie. Right. My midfield, if fit, I'm going to take it on at the moment that Foden is out injured. For the moment, it will change tomorrow, hopefully. I'm going with Bernardo Silva and Alvarez. Someone challenge me. This is on the assumption Foden has not recovered from his niggle. That's true, Super City. They did have an easy run.
What? So is this who I would pick or who I think Pep will pick?
Just you predicted 11.
My predicted 11. In that case, I will differ from you. In that case, I'll differ from you.
You'll be throwing in Kovacic and all sorts here.
No. If I think
what do you think Pep's going to do?
I think Pep will pick Kovacic, and Bernardo will be on the right, up front. I think he'll go Alvarez and Kovacic. He'll go Alvarez and Kovacic with Rodri in that 3.
Who's your left?
Grealish.
And you got the Norwegian lamppost up top?
Yep. And I'll have Bernardo playing right up front.
Okay, man. Doc can't stop singing the green, green grass of home. It sounds like Tom Jones syndrome. It's common. It's not unusual.
The Elbons are the best.
Rich got patriotic listening to you say that.
It's not
you should know that the North Welsh. I'm entirely North Welsh. We have nothing in common with the South Welsh. There's virtually
no, you do. No, you have nothing in common. One actually speaks Welsh. The other one speaks English.
Yeah, the North Welsh speak Welsh. The Gwynedd, the Kingdom.
I thought the North-South divide only applied to the UK. It looks like it applies to Wales as well.
No, because part of Wales.
South Welsh call us Gogs.
No, because South Wales is Cardiff and all that, Swansea.
Yeah.
That's proper Wales. North Wales is like bloody Southport and Blackpool.
No. North Wales, West Wales, and particularly
Queen's Ferry.
It's where they speak Welsh. And where
no, it isn't, Rich. They speak Scouse or they speak broken Manc. Don't give me that crap in Northern
No,
Welsh.
that's just the people who we're getting money out of when they're on holiday.
That's the people at Pontins and Haven. Not that there's out wrong with Pontins or Haven. Fergie only had the treble in England over Pep. Pep achieved that. Good point. I'm going. I think he will go with Doku, Grealish, Haaland. I think Kovacic and Nunes miss out.
Yeah, I mean, I would prefer. I will be happy if we go with Doku, because if I was picking the team, I'd have, Bernardo and Alvarez in the midfield, and I'd go Doku and Grealish. But I just think he'll go Kovacic over Doku. But because I just think Pep's a bit more conservative than the fans.
Okay. Pat, any challenges to me, Rich?
No, I think the lineups and the form pretty much explain themselves basically. I would have no problems with Bernardo and Alvarez starting this game, given the form that they came off the bench against YB.
I just look at the Doku and Grealish, and I think he did that for a reason. I think he did it to look at it, and I think it worked. It
was like a good game. It was like Switzerland was a good game for him to trial that.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we will know more tomorrow at the press conference. Anything comes from that, we will break it here on the Mancunian way.
Well, I was listening to a pod a couple of weeks ago, and they were talking. They've been talking to Marty Perronel, who obviously knows a lot of what's going on, and he was pretty clear that we'd signed Doku to play with Grealish, with one control and one attack. So the long-term plan was definitely Doku and Grealish both playing.
Spot on. Yeah. Right. Before we get to the very end, combined 11s currently. But doing an all-time one, current squads.
What formation are we going?
Should we just do the City formation? Because United don't really play two up front either anymore.
No.
Does any team play two up front anymore?
Well, City are the closest to it now with Alvarez.
Yeah, but he's not really a 10, isn't he, Rich?
Well, he's a kind of unique role, isn't he? He's a exploit the space that is created by.
You mean like the free ranger role, the free roamer?
Yeah, and when it's probably different when Foden's not playing, because when Foden plays, Alvarez, I think, roams slightly higher up the pitch, because Foden really roams in that between the lines, in the middle of the attack.
Scotty Mullen, top of the league, and debating about Pep throwing his curveball in. Kanji up top. Right.
Now, there will be a big bad Norwegian up front. His name.
No, mate. There's no Wenger hatred. We're just saying he's not as good as Pep. But Wenger in his day, mate, was superb. Rejuvenated football completely.
And he was a coach. He was one of the first to kind of that coach football manager, not focusing on the business side in the same way.
I'm out of this one. This is for you to deal with.
Straight to the point.
This is for you to deal with. Come on, Rich. Defend your look, Sean's something to do with sheep.
No.
People find it very hard to understand their superiors. That's all I'll say.
I'm not saying anything. North Wales is full of Scousers. Told you. Don't give me this North Wales speak Welsh.
There are a few too many. I will say that.
Rich, when was the last time you went back to Wales?
Well, it's actually a few years.
That's what I mean. So I don't know what Rich is even on about here.
Well,
he comes home and doesn't even go to Wales.
To be honest, when I left, I moved to New South Wales, so I am standing on Welsh territory today.
Why are you throwing bloody jokes in?
Hey?
I thought it was a Tommy Cooper celebration day. I thought we were celebrating Welsh culture and the great Tommy Cooper.
What the hell Pat's doing? Are you two trying to make my job harder? Rich, hang on, I just got them all.
You going to show mine or not?
No, you're getting fined a week's wages now. Luke, who was a magician, asked him, "Can you pull a rabbit out of the eye?" I said, "No, but I can pull a hair out of my eye." Oh God! Right, Edison or Onana?
Edison by a country mile.
Left back.
I'll pick it. Edison over any goalkeeper in the
I'm
world.
going to put to the point. Is there any United players getting in the City squad? In the City 11?
In the squad. In the squad.
No, 11. Jeez, I'm not doing a 25-man combined. In the 11, is there any United?
Do you know?
The only one I can think of, and this
There's
is
only one
by
who's
the
good
way,
enough, but he's a whining, crying little whinging. Fernandez is their best player.
No.
Bruno's their best player, but he's a whining little.
For who? Who's Bruno going in for? Alvarez? No.
Kovacic?
Golden? No.
Kovacic
Kovacic doesn't start in the 11, Rich.
Well, the only reason he'd get in is if De Bruyne's injured. But I suppose if we're doing theoretical ones, De Bruyne's fit.
Jesus Christ. I said starting 11 when everyone's fit.
Well, no one then, because
right,
not even close if De Bruyne's fit.
There's one.
Have they got a good mascot or
in
something?
my opinion, Rashford
barely getting the best side at the moment.
Pep Guardiola would make Rashford Ballon d'Or winner.
But have you seen how bad he is this season?
I know
this is the kiss of death. It's the kiss of death, and he'll probably score a hat-trick now because he'll find form. But this season, he shouldn't be getting in a combined Manchester United with Manchester United 11 this season on the way he's playing. He's been terrible.
I don't know what's going on this channel tonight. Combined 11, whoever Pep picks on Sunday. No, listen, right. Challenge me on the Rashford. Anyone in the comments. I honestly think Pep Guardiola would make Rashford a wonder.
Yeah, but you're saying
I don't know if he'd make him. I kind of agree with you, Martin. I don't think he'd make him a wonder, but I think he'd make him really good.
Can I ask you a question? When did Rashford last play a good game of football?
When did anyone at United play a good game of football, Rich?
When did Rashford last play a good game of football? You can't put a
player in. He was playing pretty good after the World Cup. He was playing pretty good after the World Cup. Like,
he was okay
he carried that
8
team
months
to
ago.
that stretch of wins.
So you think a player who had some good games 8 months ago deserves to get into a City team ahead of a treble winner?
Oh, we've really got Rich going. Pep. Bloody hell. We've really got Rich going here. Got the Welsh anger, the Welsh Dragons coming out.
If Rashford signed for City, we could put him out on loan to find his form for a year at Brighton or something. Get him, Girona, Brighton,
no one's agreeing with
FC. Get his form.
They're all telling me I'm talking out my ass. No.
I think Rashford.
No, definitely no.
Rashford can be a good player, but he can't pass well enough for City, and he's been out of form for 6, 8, 9, 10 months.
Rashford. No, man is overrated. United's best player is Martinez. Nah, no way. No one's agreeing with that. It's fine. Just my opinion. Even if we did a combined squad, no one would get in. Rashford, debate is pointless. Move on, lads. We're ending the show in a minute, mate. Bruno is never disciplined. He's all over the place. Would rather Carson left wing.
I think Bruno is their best player, but I couldn't pick him in an under-12 side because
Meals on Wheels.
I think he is just. I think Bruno to me is everything that is wrong with modern football. He's just like a toddler in a strop playing football, and I don't like to see a captain crying. I don't like to see a captain whimpering. I don't like to see a captain whinging. I don't like to see a captain cheating. I don't like to see a captain moaning. But he is a talented player, but he needs a personality transplant.
Well,
and he needs to
do an apology shot for picking Rashford.
Go on, Martin, put yourself on the big screen.
I apologise for having an opinion. Martin, I want to see an apology shot and City Channel apologise for Justin.
I apologise for a rubbish opinion.
I don't agree, Martin, mate. Pep would expect more possession. I just think there is a player there in Rashford that Pep would get more out of. I honestly think Maguire would have been a superb signing for City under Pep.
Yeah, but I don't think there's anyone who's going to be a better player under Ten
Hang
Hag
on.
than Pep.
100 people just unsubscribed. I'm joking. Oh, that's going to become a meme.
I'm sure if, Martial played
memed up.
Pep, he'd have 6 Ballon d'Ors. But anyway.
Whoa, Bruno plays like Martin on FIFA. I'd smack you around, sunshine. Right, anyway. Listen, everyone's going mad at me tonight. Maybe I've been talking too much derby today. Been at it for 5 hours. Right, we'll get off that. Pat, are we coming away on Sunday that Manchester is blue?
Yes. Yes, we are.
Not going to gasp for score predictions.
No.
Rich? Manchester red or blue on Sunday?
Well, Manchester has never been anything but blue. But Salford and Trafford and Wigan.
I got shouted at for that. I upset a United fan tonight.
Excellent.
She was not very happy. I kicked off the back. I walked in the studio. Went, did you have a safe trip up from London? They didn't find it very funny. Yeah. And then we started talking about globalization of the club. And he says to me, hang on, I thought you were all laughing at us being from London. Now you're talking about globalization. I'm like, oh, forget it. Just the banter went over the heads. They didn't like it.
Let's be honest. I have a feeling this weekend the Premier League's going to be blue. England's going to be blue. Salford's going to be blue. Trafford's going to be blue. Altringham's going to be blue. And Manchester's going to be just that little bit more blue than it always is.
Sub 2's put, nah, it's good, bro. You can't be right all the time, boss. Martin, would you have Kiki Masampa over Marcus? Oh, I'm not living this down, am I? Yeah, that's because she's from Cornwall. Right, anyway, I think I'm going to go. I'm going to give you a prediction. And it was my prediction on the show earlier. I think we'll win 3-1.
No.
I was going to say 3-1 as well.
5-2.
We like a 3-1 at the moment. Yeah.
5-2.
Yeah, why not?
Bloody hell, Rich.
Haaland hat-trick.
Oh, yeah. I do think Haaland's on the score sheet.
Mm-hmm. I've been dying to see him score a goal at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
Can
I just say, I think you're a bit pessimistic because I meant 7-0 when I went like that.
Well, when you went like that, I didn't quite know what you were doing.
7-0.
Well, there are some people where he's from that have 7 fingers on a hand, so.
Yeah. Oh, you can talk from the Shire, sunshine.
I do actually have hair on my feet.
Mate, so. With your hairy feet and your 6 fingers and your 18 meals and your blooming orcs running around killing you.
Just remember,
I'm just going to do a part.
Just remember, mate, there was a time when everybody else in Sydney had to boil their water. We didn't, so.
I'm just going to do, you don't have a pool in the back like Rich, Pat. Sorry, you don't have a private pool in Butler.
Well, Martin, you probably do have a pool, but it's an ice skating rink right now.
Don't take this just because you've not got a butler and a private pool like, Mr. Richard down there.
Yeah, I don't talk to my butler. I have a general manager.
Yeah, Martin, Rich has got his own tunnel club.
Rich, has the wife gone out shopping in the Bentley with the chauffeur?
I wish. No, she's gone to work with the kids.
Work with the kids?
Well,
what are you doing over in Australia?
She's taking one of the kids to where she works. Yeah, take the kid to school and then work.
Martin, don't blame us, mate. Blame your ancestors.
And I have the day off today. So
DC's gone 2-0. I was wondering, you told me the other day you could only do an hour. Still here. 3-0 City, Rodri, Haaland and Doku. just get the 3 points, however it comes. Yeah. Ethan's going 8-0. Ethan is saying 8-0 till it hurts him.
Yeah.
Callum's gone 8-0. 6-1. Talked about that tonight as well. Ooh, loved it. 5-0 at half time. City out. No, I wish we were. We're not going with a score. I'd have Boney over Rashford. I'm not living that down, am I? 3-1 to City. Dudley. Really good to have you on the page.
That is harsh. Blue Heart, that is harsh. But fair point.
It picks off. It's cut him off. Nobody picking a clean sheet. I'm nervous.
Do you remember? You might not be. Well, you'll be old enough, Martin. Do you remember?
Piss off.
I don't know. About 20 years ago, maybe 23 years ago, we signed a player. The first Toure we had. Was it Aliou Toure?
You mean the Frenchman who never played?
Yeah, Aliou Toure. Marcus.
You know where he was signed from?
Where Troy?
Paris Saint-Germain.
Was he? Yeah, well, he was the Marcus Rashford of the day. You know, very quick, often ran out of pitch.
Do you remember the first Australian? Do you remember one of the Australians we bought? Not the first one.
David Oldfield.
No. So one of the Australians, the Australian striker.
David Oldfield's just an Englishman who would happen to be born in Perth. That was all.
I mean, I'd love to forget about Danny Allsop, but I sadly can't. You know what I mean?
The great Danny Allsop. I remember seeing him against Notts County.
Yeah,
Brilliant player.
Who was better, Danny Allsop or Lee Peacock?
I'm going with Danny. I didn't like Lee Peacock.
Do you know what I'm going with?
Lee Peacock.
Tell you, out of 20 penalties, 19 of them hit the barn door. Only one of them would go in the bloody barn. Are you Wag City fan, guys? Rich's wife is a wag. For Rich. Rich has that much money. Have you ever? Do you remember that duck? Do you ever watch a thing called DuckTales with Scrooge McDuck? Now, it was a cartoon in the 80s.
He's got a basement full of coins, and
he had a diving pool that dived into his vault of coins. That's Rich. That's what he does every night now when he goes to bed. He just dives into a pool of money.
Yeah.
And a picture of Alan on his wall. Anyway.
Who had a picture of Alan on their wall? Why would anyone?
I was at that game when Hatem Trebelsi scored that. We didn't think it had gone in.
Why would anyone have a picture of Alan on the wall?
Danny, for me, no one wants a peacock. No one wanted that peacock. David Oldfield is from Oz. He is. First Australian. Martin, which Derby did have some. Yeah, we got beat 2 or 3-1. I was also at the derby that Joey Barton got an equaliser in the 85th minute and they got kicked out of Old Trafford. Rich McDuck sleeps on money. Yeah, Rich McDuck, we like that one. I'm going with that one. Right, that is your derby preview. As I said, really, really enjoyed that. It is a bit of banter here on the Mancunian way. We don't just go into, we can all do the analysis and everything else. We do a bit of that. We do a bit of banter as well. Because we want you to enjoy the streams. There was over 130, it was nearly 150 on tonight. We've actually had, and I can tell you now, while we've been live, we have had nearly 500 unique viewers so far. That is amazing. 500 people have tuned in. We are at 95 likes. If you have not hit that like button, we are 5 away from 100 live on air. So if you've not hit the like button, please smash it. 5 more gets us to 100 live on air. That'd be amazing. We will be back Sunday night with the post-match win, lose, or draw. I'm presuming, well, I know part of you free. I presume everyone's free. Should be. It's Derby day. Got to be free Monday morning for a derby.
Yeah, I'll make time.
If we get beat, you can't send me on my own on a derby getting beat.
Yeah, we can.
Absolutely amazing if I was able to watch full stream. Yes, get over to MCFR TV as well. Give them a lot of love. Clinical. I'm on Clinical's show Saturday night. I'm going to go and support Clinical. So if anyone wants to come over, give Clinical a Jamaican Blue a lot of love. And also tomorrow night, I will be on the panel show for City Extra at around 8 p.m. I've been told. So I will be on City Extra tomorrow and then Clinical Saturday. And then we're back Sunday for the post-match. So, yeah, get out there, support your all City channels. Final thoughts on the derby, gentlemen?
I hope that every single player puts the fans first this weekend and just concentrates on going out and crushing them.
Yep. Lot to play for in this derby, guys. You know, just be respectful given the events of what happens over the last week or two. So be respectful, but at the same time, sing your bloody lungs out and just absolutely batter them.
Sean's put it, if we lose, I'm going in the bin for 6 months. Do you know what? That's what I guess. Why never go biggie to? Was Rich frozen?
No, he's fine.
Did Rich like just zone out there for a minute? Did anyone else in the comments notice Rich zoning?
I was in a 6-1 wonderland.
He was thinking about
David Silva.
He was thinking about which vehicle to take out for the drive. The Lambo, the Bentley's already gone.
Rich Zone sounds like a Welsh boy band.
Yeah.
Cheers, MCR.
Unfortunately, the bit of truth is I drive a Kia, but anyway.
No, your butler drives a Kia.
Don't knock a Kia. I nearly ordered one of them. Ended up going with a Cupra.
I had a Nokia.
Nice.
I had a Nokia 33.
No, I've now ordered a Cupra Formentor.
I haven't even heard of that.
Look it up. V2 1.5.
No, Rich, Cupra is that car company, the one that sponsored the Matildas during the World Cup.
Very nice cars. Thank you so much,
Where are they from? Azerbaijan or
no, Spain?
I don't know.
Spain. Okay.
Podcast. Thank you so much, Michael Judge. Appreciate that. Well said, Rich. Fingers crossed for the 3 points. Who wants a Goldbridge rant? Always love a Goldbridge rant. 6-1 City. Rich was just chilling. He was imagining. Scotty Moore says Rich was looking at his money. Rich dogs took the Bentley. Needs to drive down the middle if the fridge starts. Oof. The funny thing is we have to beat them at least 3 clear goals or United fans will claim it as a win. That's true. That's true. You doing a Twitter space? I may do one tomorrow night. I don't know. Keep an eye on my Twitter at Horsey City in the next half an hour. I'll see who's free. Slabhead in the bin versus Doku. I'm just really tired, so maybe tomorrow now. Really enjoyed it. Glad you did. Let's have a goldfish rant. Too easy. A Cupra Frey Bentos taster. No, it's not a pie in a tin. Behave. Anyway, have a lovely rest of your evening. We'll be back Sunday for the Manchester derby post-match show, and hopefully we will make Manchester blue. Do you know what I did notice before we leave? We've no midweek game next week. I feel really weird.
Yeah,
Pat's mentioned that about 25 times.
Has that?
Yep.
Right. Yeah, he has. Yeah. I'm just imagining all the great names you could have if you get a Cupra. You could have a Davy Cupra, a Neely Cupra. You know, there's so many. You know,
we've hit 100 likes live on air. That is amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah, and with it, we're nearly at 550 on views now. That is amazing. But yes, thank you so much for that. It's been a lovely, lovely evening. Have a great evening. Enjoy the derby. And we'll see you Sunday for Manchester City victory, touch wood, at the Swamp. Take care, all.
Yeah.
And don't forget, Manchester's blue.
Always.